Have you ever wondered why prostate problems seem to be on the rise? Many men suffer from frequent urination, weak urine flow, and inflammation, yet they don't realize that one of the biggest culprits is hiding in plain sight: sugar. Yes, that sweet temptation that's in almost everything we eat can have serious consequences for your prostate health. But why? How does sugar impact the prostate, and what does science say about it? Stick around, because in this video, we're going to expose the shocking truth about sugar and its impact on your prostate. We'll break down the scientific evidence, discuss how sugar contributes to prostate enlargement, inflammation, and even prostate cancer, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself starting today. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss life-changing health tips. Let's dive in. The prostate is a small gland about the size of a walnut located just below the bladder. It plays a critical role in male reproductive health, producing seminal fluid that nourishes and transports sperm. As men age, the prostate is prone to several conditions including benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate, leading to urination difficulties, prostatitis, inflammation of the prostate, causing pain and discomfort, and prostate cancer, one of the most common cancers among men worldwide. But what do all these conditions have in common? They are all affected by diet, particularly the consumption of sugar. Inflammation is one of the leading causes of prostate problems, including benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, prostatitis, and even prostate cancer. But did you know that excess sugar consumption is one of the primary triggers of chronic inflammation in the body? When you eat sugar, whether it's in the form of sweets, sodas, white bread, or processed foods, your body quickly converts it into glucose, which raises insulin levels. This creates a cascade of inflammatory responses that can damage tissues over time, including those in your prostate gland. In this section, we will break down the science behind how sugar fuels prostate inflammation, and what the latest research says about its impact on prostate health. Inflammation is a natural defense mechanism of the body. When you have an injury or infection, your immune system responds by releasing inflammatory chemicals or cytokines to heal the damage. This type of short-term or acute inflammation is beneficial. However, when the body experiences chronic inflammation where the immune system is constantly in attack mode, it can lead to serious long-term damage. What happens when inflammation is chronic? The prostate gland swells, causing urinary issues. The immune system begins to attack healthy prostate cells, leading to pain and discomfort. The risk of BPH, prostatitis, and prostate cancer increases significantly. Scientific evidence. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Urology found that chronic inflammation was present in nearly all cases of benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, and prostate cancer. Another study published in the Prostate Journal confirmed that men with higher levels of inflammatory markers had an increased risk of prostate enlargement and urinary symptoms. So what's one of the biggest culprits behind chronic inflammation? Sugar. When you consume refined sugars and processed carbohydrates, they are rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream, leading to a spike in blood glucose levels. This sets off a chain reaction of inflammatory processes in the body. Step 1. Sugar raises insulin levels. When blood sugar levels spike, the pancreas releases large amounts of insulin to help process the glucose. This might not sound like a big deal, but high insulin levels contribute directly to prostate inflammation. Scientific evidence. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that men with high insulin resistance had significantly higher risks of prostate disorders, including BPH and prostatitis. Step 2. Sugar triggers the release of pro-inflammatory chemicals. Excess sugar leads to the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines such as interleukin-6, found in high levels in men with BPH and prostatitis, tumor necrosis factor alpha linked to aggressive prostate cancer growth, and C-reactive protein, an inflammatory marker that increases in men with enlarged prostates. Scientific evidence. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that just a single high-sugar meal can increase inflammatory cytokines in the blood for up to 5 hours. That means every time you consume a sugary drink or processed food, your body enters a state of inflammation for hours, which over time can cause severe prostate damage. Step 3. Sugar increases oxidative stress and free radical damage. Excess sugar doesn't just cause inflammation, it also increases oxidative stress. This means that your body produces more free radicals which damage prostate cells and increase the risk of mutations. What happens when oxidative stress damages the prostate? It can trigger abnormal cell growth, leading to prostate enlargement. It weakens the body's natural defenses against cancer cells. It accelerates aging and cellular deterioration in the prostate gland. Scientific evidence. A study published in Cancer Research found that high blood sugar levels are directly linked to increased oxidative stress and prostate cancer risk. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, affects over 50% of men over 50 and 90% of men over 80. One of the main risk factors? High sugar consumption. How sugar worsens BPH. Increases insulin resistance, leading to hormonal imbalances that fuel prostate growth. Causes weight gain. Excess fat tissue increases estrogen, which contributes to prostate enlargement. Triggers inflammation, making symptoms of BPH even worse. Scientific evidence. A study in the Prostate Journal found that men who consumed high amounts of sugar-sweetened beverages had a significantly higher risk of developing severe BPH. If you are experiencing frequent urination, weak urine flow, or nighttime trips to the bathroom, your sugar intake may be a major cause. Now that you know how sugar fuels prostate inflammation, it's time to take action. Step 1. Cut out processed sugars. Avoid sodas and sugary drinks, processed pastries, candies and cakes, and white bread, pasta, and refined carbs. Step 2. Switch to natural sweeteners. Instead of sugar, try raw honey, stevia, and fresh fruits for natural sweetness. Step 3. Eat anti-inflammatory foods. Include more leafy greens like broccoli, spinach, and kale. Tomatoes, which are rich in lycopene for prostate health, omega-3 rich fish like salmon, sardines, and trout, and nuts such as almonds, walnuts, and Brazil nuts. Prostate cancer is one of the most common cancers in men worldwide, and research suggests that excess sugar consumption may play a significant role in its development and progression. While many people associate high sugar intake with obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, few realize that sugar also fuels cancer growth, including prostate cancer. But how exactly does sugar contribute to prostate cancer? What does the latest scientific research reveal about this deadly connection? In this section, we will explore the hidden dangers of sugar in prostate cancer, break down the mechanisms at play, and discuss practical steps you can take to reduce your risk. One of the most shocking discoveries in cancer research is that cancer cells consume sugar at a much higher rate than normal cells. This phenomenon is known as the Warburg effect, named after Nobel Prize-winning scientist Dr. Otto Warburg, who discovered that cancer cells rely on glycolysis or sugar metabolism for energy production, even in the presence of oxygen. How sugar feeds cancer cells? Normal cells use oxygen to produce ATP or energy through the mitochondria. Cancer cells, however, prefer to use glucose fermentation, which allows them to rapidly grow and spread. More sugar means faster cancer growth and tumor progression. Scientific evidence. A study published in Cancer Research found that high glucose levels directly fuel prostate cancer growth and increase the risk of aggressive tumors. Another study in the Journal of Clinical Investigation showed that prostate cancer cells exhibit an abnormally high glucose uptake, making dietary sugar intake a key factor in cancer cell survival. What does this mean? If you are consuming excessive amounts of sugar, you are essentially feeding potential cancer cells in your body, allowing them to grow faster and become more aggressive. High sugar intake doesn't just fuel cancer cells, it also triggers hormonal changes that make prostate cancer more likely. Sugar causes high insulin levels, which promotes cancer growth. Every time you consume sugar, your pancreas releases insulin to regulate blood sugar levels. High insulin levels stimulate cell proliferation, making it easier for cancerous cells to multiply. Insulin resistance, caused by long-term sugar consumption, makes the body produce even more insulin, increasing the likelihood of tumor growth. Scientific evidence. A study published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute found that men with high insulin levels were more likely to develop aggressive prostate cancer. Sugar increases IGF-1 or insulin-like growth factor 1, which fuels tumor growth. IGF-1 is a hormone that stimulates cell growth and division. High levels of IGF-1 have been linked to an increased risk of prostate cancer development and progression. Sugar-rich diets raise IGF-1 levels, making the prostate more susceptible to cancerous changes. Scientific evidence. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology found that higher IGF-1 levels were associated with a significantly greater risk of prostate cancer. What does this mean? By consuming high amounts of sugar, you are not only fueling cancer cells, but also creating the perfect hormonal environment for tumors to grow and spread. Chronic inflammation is one of the leading risk factors for prostate cancer, and sugar is one of the biggest dietary contributors to inflammation. How sugar triggers inflammation in the prostate. Sugar consumption causes spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels, triggering the release of pro-inflammatory cytokines. These cytokines cause damage to prostate cells, making them more vulnerable to cancerous changes. Inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, or CRP, and interleukin-6, or IL-6, are often elevated in men with prostate cancer. Scientific evidence. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that high sugar consumption increased levels of inflammatory markers in the blood, leading to an elevated risk of prostate cancer. Another study from the Prostate Journal found that chronic inflammation caused by high sugar diets created an environment that promotes prostate tumor growth. What does this mean? Sugar not only feeds cancer cells but also creates chronic inflammation, making it easier for cancer to develop and spread. Being overweight or obese is a major risk factor for prostate cancer. How does sugar contribute to obesity and prostate cancer? Well, excess sugar gets stored as body fat, particularly around the abdomen. Fat cells produce excess estrogen, which promotes prostate growth. And obesity weakens the immune system, making it harder to fight off cancerous cells. Scientific evidence shows that a study in the Journal of Urology found that obese men had a 33% higher risk of developing prostate cancer than men with a healthy weight. Another study published in Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention found that men who consumed the most sugar-sweetened beverages were significantly more likely to develop prostate cancer. What does this mean? By cutting out sugar, you can reduce your risk of obesity, inflammation, and prostate cancer all at the same time. If you want to protect your prostate and reduce your cancer risk, follow these key steps. First, eliminate processed sugars. Avoid sodas, candies, pastries, and ultra-processed foods. Next, choose whole natural foods. Eat fresh vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Then switch to natural sweeteners. Use honey, monk fruit, or stevia instead of refined sugar. Also, eat more fiber. Fiber helps regulate blood sugar and reduces cancer risk. Finally, exercise regularly. Physical activity reduces inflammation and regulates hormone levels. Now that you know how dangerous sugar is, here's what you can do to protect your prostate starting today. First, cut out processed sugars. Avoid sugary drinks, pastries, and candies. Next, switch to natural sweeteners. Use honey, monk fruit, or stevia. Then, eat whole foods. Focus on vegetables, healthy fats, and lean proteins. Also, drink more water. Stay hydrated to flush out toxins from your prostate. Finally, reduce carbohydrates. Opt for low glycemic foods like quinoa and sweet potatoes. Sugar is one of the worst things you can consume for your prostate health. It fuels inflammation, prostate enlargement, hormonal imbalances, and even cancer growth. Now I want to hear from you. Are you cutting back on sugar? Have you noticed any improvements in your prostate health? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. If you found this information valuable, like this video, subscribe for more health tips, and share this with your family and friends. Your prostate health is in your hands. Start making smarter choices today. See you in the next video.